Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my humble abode. Emphasis on the humble. This is what $2.80 per week used to get you in Burwood in Sydney. I would love it if you guys could help make this the first thing that comes up when you look up the address. I'll explain why later, but first let me give you the grand tour. So this is how much floor space you get. Fun fact, wherever I'm standing in the room I can touch a wall. As with most places in the inner west, the mould is a permanent fixture. It was here when I moved in, and every time I clean it, it's back within a few weeks, so I'm pretty sure it's in the walls. Now those walls don't connect to the roof or the floor, and there are no skirting boards, so it's open to everything. It gets pretty cold in the winter. The place was built as a shed around 1850 and converted seemingly as some kid's school project. On that note, the place is next to a primary school, so at certain times during the day, all you can hear is this. Now, with the walls being the way they are, bugs have free access to the place, so it's a constant battle against spiders, caterpillars, millipedes, mosquitoes, and whatever this thing is. Of course, even if they installed skirting boards, there's a bunch of little holes in the brickwork, so sealing the place would be a big job. Now, the garden is completely unmanaged, and so are the trees that surround the place, so there are plenty of bugs around, but also plenty of leaves. This is the only space I have for a drying rack, given the size of the kitchenette. That also means my pantry is in the main room, with all my cutlery and crockery wedged in there. Now, the bathroom vents into the kitchenette, but that's fine, because, oh yeah, the door handle's a little finicky. But yes, the back wall of the kitchenette is predominantly cardboard, with a few planks of wood leaning up against the outside. So lots of space for the steam to vent past the daisy-chained power boards. A fifth of the floor in here is just dirt. The door only opens this far. The sink is this much standing room. And the only light in here, besides the sunlight streaming in, is the one that I hung up myself. The only drain in the place, besides the one in the shower, is in here, at the topologically highest point. So any water that comes in has to be directed into it. And this is what happens when it rains. Now, if I'm home, I can put down towels to stem the tide, but anything that gets past it pools in the bathroom and then under the bed. If I'm not home and it starts raining, I have to rush home. Now, heading into the bathroom, as I said, there's a drain in the shower, so the sink drains into there. Two of the shower walls are unsealed brick, and the third is this rotting wooden Venetian blind thing. I've tried to patch it as best as I can with the placards that get left outside after every election. Shout out to Labour and Liberal for the only bipartisan initiative that's helped me in the last 5 years, them leaving their crap around. This needs to be mopped up every time I have a shower. The shower has about 7 minutes of hot water, by the way, and if you don't dump a bunch of drain cleaner down the sink every few months, that pipe reeks like garbage every time you use it. Now, this is a granny shack, so to get in you also have to walk through a house that's completely unmanaged. I'll walk you through there as I explain the other issues. Now, the place was advertised with Wi-Fi, but the range doesn't extend out of the house in any functional capacity, so I've had my laptop tethered to my phone for 2 years. I don't have a lease agreement, it's just a direct bank transfer, and I'm pretty confident the bond I paid wasn't lodged with the agency. It was never offered to me as an option. Two of the guys in the main house have leaking rooms as well. One of them asked about repairs about 4 months ago, but hasn't heard anything back. So all the issues you see have been here since I moved in, except the glass panel on the back door, which shattered about 6 months ago when the wind slammed it. The property manager has been around since, so he does know about it. The shared washing machine is completely exposed. I'm no Sparky, but I believe that's what they call a hazard. Now, the reason why I'd like to make all of this public knowledge is that I've received a text from the property manager saying that the rent is going up. This is off the back of a text saying that they had a high power bill, so I'm pretty sure raising the rent on us is a way for them to offset that. Like, come on, guys, if this is an investment property, then investment entails risk. You can't take the gains and then outsource the losses. You should have been putting money aside to account for a high power bill, as far as I'm concerned. At the very least, you can call the energy company and threaten to switch providers and try and get a discount, but I shouldn't be telling them how to do their job. Anyway, I wasn't even home for most of August. I was in hospital, so I really shouldn't have been using that much power. The friend who got me into the ambulance did manage to have the good sense to turn off everything, so that was nice. But yes, hospital. I have a brain tumour that bleeds occasionally and sends me into tonic-clonic seizures, and then I wake up with some new status effect. The most recent one took out most of the coordination in my left side. I'm now on 3 different drowsy medications to try and manage the seizures, and I'm now looking down the barrel of a brain surgery that the neuro team have really been trying to avoid. So I'm exhausted, I'm worried, I have a whole bunch of paperwork to sort out, and I'm trying to do everything with one hand. The two things that aggravate my condition are stress and lack of sleep. So dealing with this rent increase isn't just a hassle, it's injurious. Anyway, when I got the text about the rent increase, I sent the property manager a 3-page text outlining some of the issues and asking him to reconsider the necessity. You can pause and read the full text if you'd like. I'd always believed that if I requested repairs, my rent would be raised to offset it. So I just dealt with the problems. But if the rent is going up anyway, then I have no reason not to request those repairs. Now, this was at 8:30 p.m. The property manager then tried to call me at 9:30. I want everything in text now, so I let it ring out. And then I got this, saying that he can drop the increase to 20, $300 per week. Given the time frames, it's clear he didn't take this info to the real estate agent or the landlord, as I suggested, likely because they have no intention of actually carrying out those repairs. And the fact that he could arbitrarily knock 30% off the increase gives me some indication of the necessity of the whole thing. Since then, he's also been trying to nickel and dime me out of $20, but backed off when I mentioned repairs. Now, the audacity of trying to charge more for this place has annoyed me, but ideology aside, from a business perspective, I think it's a terrible decision. I only took this place because I didn't know about half the issues when I moved in, and I don't really aspire to live in a nice house. I'm a climate activist, an anti-fascist, anti-racist activist, an indigenous sovereignty activist. I'm already fighting a bunch of wars, none of which I'm on the winning side of, so I don't really have the time to stop and pretty up the trench that I'm taking cover in. All I need is a shed to stash my board games, plug in the laptop, and crash when I can get a couple hours sleep. I doubt it'd be easy to find someone else willing to live in this place, even at the rate that I'm paying now, particularly if all of these issues become public knowledge, hence the request for you guys to boost this. So from a business perspective, I think trying to squeeze me means risking me moving out and a significant loss of income. But it also risks me requesting the kind of costly repairs that this place would need to be habitable, and maybe even mentioning the situation to the ATO. So I'm asking you guys, what do you reckon I should do? My first thought was, considering how much effort it's taken to put all of this leverage together, to give him a counter offer to drop my rent by $20 instead, and not to raise the rent on any of the housemates, so they can't just split my share of the increase between them. They're doing it arguably as tough as I am, with medical issues, multiple jobs. Some of them are on visas, so I want to fight on their behalf. My second thought was that maybe asking them to drop the rent would be a bit too much, and that I should just ask them to hold it where it is, for me and the rest of the housemates. Of course, if he says no, I'm just going to have to pay it, but then I can officially request repairs and make sure it costs them. Unlike the other housemates, I should be able to find the time to take these things to NCAT and the tenants union to make sure they actually get done properly. That said, I'm no expert, but I don't think it'd be possible to make this place habitable. How would they even sort out the drainage? And shave down the floor? And given the heritage of this place, I don't even think it'd be possible to knock it down and rebuild it. So my biggest point of leverage there is that I could do things by the book, cost them a bunch of money, and then maybe even find a new place in the meantime, leaving them with a very costly and unrentable shack. But yes, I'm keen to hear what the community thinks about this. Thanks for watching to the end. Peace.